So I thought I would do a little tutorial about low poly modeling. This is a particular kind of look and feel. It ends up with a very low number of polygons, which is good for games, but also has an aesthetic appeal to some people. They like the look and feel of these low poly mountains, for instance. This is what this is supposed to be. Maybe maybe it doesn't look like one to you. The funny thing about low poly modeling, you can see it's very low poly, but we end up making a lot of polygons and then reducing them. And that makes sense to me. We want to get a lot of variety in the shape, but then we don't want to have a lot of polygons making that variety. So it's kind of complex. This tutorial is partly to just demonstrate low poly modeling, but then the next tutorial, I believe, will be something we can do really rapidly and much more realistically, and but then it has its own challenges as well. So let's get started with this. So actually, I think I will just move this over to the side. We may see it over there, but maybe we can combine this with another mountain. We'll see. May have to material put different materials on that original mountain. So let's start from not from zero. Let's start with the mountain that we could possibly use, but we'll create a new one. So I went through this process here. This is the spacebar, and then that gives you the 4 up, and I'm going to the top view, spacebar, and then I'm going to use mesh. I guess it's mesh tools. Create polygon. So what this does is you get to draw a polygon. After the first 3, it starts filling in, but it's not done until I hit enter, and then it's done. And now I feel like maybe I want to move some of these vertices around, so I'll right click and get the heads up here and get the vertices. And if I don't have this selected, W selected, I can hit the W key. So this is going to be actually the top of my mountain, the peak. And in fact, it'll start out as the peak in any case. Spacebar and spacebar to get back into my perspective view. I'll go to right click, object mode, and I want to get the modeling toolkit. So that's here. I'm in the general workspace. I've got modeling turned on here, and this shows me the modeling toolkit. And here's extrude. So we knew how to extrude things before, but this is a little bit different, and it wants to go down, so I'm going to let it go down. I notice if I go up, everything is black, but if I go down, it's got a regular material on it. So I'm going to just go pull it down just a little bit, and then when I let go, I have an option to click one of these boxes and maybe scale the bottom out a bit, and then I'll hit extrude again and pull this down, and now I'll click one of these boxes and I'll extrude the whole thing equally. I'll just kind of go around and say, okay, yeah, we could probably extrude this a little bit in that direction. And this is the what I'm going to start with. I think in the end I won't have a flat top. We'll see. I didn't end up with a flat top here, but I also started with a smaller size. Right click object mode and then W to pull this up to ground level. Okay, something we're going to do a lot is erase the history. I don't know when I have to and when I don't have to, so I'm just doing it a lot. That's all I can say. So we've extruded and scaled and deleted the history. Now we're going to remesh this. So that's under mesh, remesh, and there's some window for the tool, but this doesn't have a lot of options. So I'm just going to choose. One thing we can do is reset the settings and just make sure that they're reset from last time. And that's what we get. We get, it's just created the kind of triangular mesh. What we're going to do is we're going to do this kind of several times. We're going to end up with lots and lots of polygons, and then we'll reduce the polygons. I'm going to object mode and kill the history. So this is the erase history button. Now I'm going to retopologize, which is similar. So that we mesh, retopologize, and here I will use the window here. I'll reset the settings. And so in this early stage, we want to keep hard edges. We want the face uniformity to be almost 1 so that they're as uniform as they can be. And the target count can be fairly low, so I'm just going to say 300. And then we say retopologize. I'm going to ignore this and continue, and there it goes. So that, you can see, is beginning to look like maybe a butte, a mesa of some kind. That's kind of the kind of mountains I grew up with in the West Texas desert. So we've, let's just erase the history just since we're here. You always have to have this thing selected to do that. All right, we're going to edit the mesh. So that's edit mesh, and there's something called transform. And we'll click that window open. And this is kind of a strength amount. And we'll try it in the middle here. And then we transform vertex. And what we get is something that looks like the gizmo that we can move things around with, but it's going to do something a little bit different here. You can see it's creating, I'll just get this blue one here, there we go. It's kind of bulging the shape. And this is in the object mode. You can see that arrow's not flat. We can go to world mode by clicking this blue sphere, and now the blue arrow is flat, but I'll just pull this up a bit. I see that's too much, huh? And so what we're doing is just getting it all craggy looking. That's mesh transform. Might as well go into object mode and delete the history, considering I don't know how often I have to do that, or you know what it's going to screw up. Now we're going to retopologize again. So that's mesh, retopologize, but this time we'll set things a little bit different. We're going to turn off the hard edges here. We're going to make the faces up in the thousands somewhere, maybe 2,000. Oh, that's 200. Up in the thousands. And the face uniformity, we're putting it down to 0. So now it'll make as you know, whatever size it wants. These are uniform. You see they're the same size. Yeah. And I think that's it. We turned off the hard edge. I think that's it. And I'll ignore and continue. All right, if I click away, you can see it's beginning to look organic, like it might be carved out of butter, maybe, or something. But we want it to be maybe more craggy and more low poly. Yeah. So we still have a few steps to go. We might as well delete the history. I just got used to just doing it. We'll pull down mesh and triangulate. And that creates triangles here. And this is going to give us a lot of that kind of rocky, kind of folded paper almost look. Some of this is. And then under mesh display, we're going to choose harden edges. And we might, yeah, in fact, there you see that. So now that's kind of like this here, but we're going to reduce the polygons. We might harden the edges again. Harden, oh, it has to be selected. Harden edges. And now we might as well delete the history. So now you can see it's got this kind of like faceted look. Now this is actually an advantage to us in low poly modeling. Now we're going to reduce the, I don't know if I did this or not. We're going to reduce the mesh. So that's mesh, reduce. Let's pull this up. And so I think as this goes up, the thing gets fewer polygons. This is the percentage we're reducing by. Yeah. So now we got a low polygon mountain that has a lot of character to it. It does have a mesa-like quality, but we may be able to fix that. I'm not sure. I think it doesn't have any topological problems because we've been putting it through these paces here. There's like one more little bit we want to do. I want to select some of these at the top here and maybe just move them around. Maybe I'll get more of a peak out of this, but I don't. If I go to vertices here, it's hard to select just some, and they'll be all moving together. So what we want to do is a different kind of selection. Here over, I'll click. Go back into object mode here. In the modeling toolkit. So that's again under this hammer and box, the modeling toolkit. We have two things we can choose: soft selection and camera-based selection. We'll turn that on. We'll have to turn these off. Remember to turn these off. And then if I go into vertex mode, you see that I'm actually selecting some things more than others. So the yellow lines, or the hot red vertices, are the ones I'm going to be selecting the most. I can pull down the B, hold down the B key, and move my left mouse, and that will make that, it's like a brush that makes smaller. M, no, don't have that. B, though, makes the brush smaller. And then I've got them selected, then I can move them around a bit. So you see the ones that are selected most are moving more, and the ones that are selecting less are moving less, and it's moving more organically, kind of together. We can get some of this stuff on the side here and pull it out a bit because it kind of got a little thin there. So what I'm doing is clicking, pulling the arrows out, and then I click anywhere else, and the selection, the soft selection, happens again. So that has a more, I think I like, there's less of a flat top. Let's go to object mode. Oops. And might as well erase the history. I'm pretty much done with this at the moment. Let's give it a paint job, so like this mountain over here, and then we'll put them together and see if we have a mountain range. I am going to print out these steps so you don't have to follow this tutorial every time. I'm going to, I guess maybe I need object mode here. Yeah. And then I'll right click and say assign new material. New material. I'll take just a Lambert. I'll give it a color of kind of rocky color. I'll try to look at this one, maybe try to imitate that without without using an eyedropper or something. And that's the mountain. And let's just put a little ice cap on top of this. So I'm going to go into face mode. Oh, I didn't turn that off, did I? So let's go back into object mode. Model toolkit. Soft selection, there we go. And camera-based selection, we can turn that off. Told you we'd have to do that. So now I'm going to go to face mode. And just grab just some of these at the top. Yep. I'll right click, assign new material. Oops, assign new material, And now I'll make it a I'll just use another, and this white is what I used I think last time. So done. So I could maybe work on the making the colors more the same. In fact, I guess this material must be in my materials. I could go find it. But the low poly modeling doesn't seem to, I mean, it's simple colors. It doesn't seem to lend itself a whole lot to naturalism. This is low poly modeling. It's not difficult, but it's kind of convoluted with a bunch of steps. I'll write those down for you.